Hey, hello, you pop culture marks, and you are joining the Three Stooges as we go through another round, another amazing round of the greatest Christmas or greatest winter holiday, whatever politically correct way of saying it, best holiday winter movie of all time. We went through the Sweet 16 this past week. So now we're down to the Elite Eight. So Vince, Austin, and myself are here to discuss, educate, and prove to you why these movies are deserving and why some of these movies maybe aren't so deserving this time around. But we are live. It is Sunday, November 28th. Thank you all for joining us on this night. I'm very excited to go through the results of the previous week as we get down to the top level of competition. I think we've weeded out kind of the more fluffy matchups that we had in, and we're getting to a point now where we have the right matchups and the right movies locked and loaded to get into some severe debate. Maybe some friendships will be broken. Maybe some members will leave or join Pop Culture Life. Who knows what will happen, but it's going to be very exciting. So, yeah, gentlemen, how you doing?
I'm good. Weeding out, I guess, is one way you can look at it. I look at it as a massacre and bloody Sunday today, based on what just happened the last week. But here I am, and yeah, excited to talk about movies with you. Austin, how's everything with you?
Everything's going good. Yeah, definitely some very interesting votes. And I'm excited to see how this discussion goes, both with you guys and in the comments. So if you have an opinion one way or another, check out the comments because I'll be in there and maybe you'll get mentioned in the show.
Good stuff. So Jake, we had a reckoning this past week.
It's a way to describe it.
Yeah, I think everything went off the rails. Now, this is to bring everyone into it. We have a group on Facebook, Pop Culture Life. If you're not in it, if you like movies, video games, TV shows, anime, whatever, great group to join. It's not too large. It's not insane. It's also not too small where you feel like you're talking to yourself. Just a great group. Go in and join it. And this is where we're housing this bracket. So we're doing this bracket. It's a 32 movie bracket nominated by people in Pop Culture Life. We've already gone through a very scientific method to get from 32. First of all, to get from like 48 because there's a play-in to get to 32. We got to 16 last week. Now we're going down to the Elite Eight. We're going to announce what the winners of the Sweet 16 were, but you can go into the group and participate going forward, or you can just join us for these podcasts Sunday nights and we'll discuss the outcomes for you and you can, yell and be angry or agree. So here we are, going from 16 to 8, Jake. What are your thoughts as we go into this year?
Well, first of all, for those of you that have an appreciation for Hanukkah, my stepdaughter just got home and she's opening her belated gift. So if you hear screaming and shouting in the background, that's why. So very excited for Mio to be opening her gifts. I have a lot of thoughts on this group. There is one movie in particular that I am very happy with the outcome of what happened with it this past week. But there's a lot of posts and a lot of commentary on a couple of the different movies going on. Some of the posts I'd like to see are centered around Christmas Story. Some of the posts I'd like to see are centered around Jingle All the Way. And so we got a healthy, good amount of debate. I'm just so happy that we can really put that British Santa Claus movie behind us.
Yes, America has won, people.
Snuck into this competition by virtue of just people not knowing the difference of that and the Tim Allen Santa Claus. But yeah, I think, like I said earlier, I think we're down to an Elite Eight that makes sense that a lot of people would have had at this round in the competition. And so, yeah, so I'm pumped to talk about it and ready to dive in when you are for this first matchup.
Yeah, let's go into it. I'll just point out I'm wearing black because I'm in mourning over some of these results that we'll get into right now. So,
well, that's another thing. I'm very excited that you're going to be sad over a couple of these matchups too.
Yeah, and I will say, here's my promise. The last two shows, because we're going to go next time we're on, we'll go from 8 to 4, and then we'll go from 4 to champion. I will wear actual themed clothing. So that's my promise to everyone. Austin, if you want to switch us over to the bracket itself, let's start with the classics. And my first absolute heartbreak, if you scroll up a little bit. So we had It's a Wonderful Life versus Home Alone. And Jake, if you recall, last time we spoke about this matchup, I was confident It's a Wonderful Life would win, but I thought it would be close. And I also was not confident It's a Wonderful Life was going to win this bracket because I felt like it suffered from ageism. And I was right, but it was so much worse than I thought because Home Alone moves on as a 6th seed. It takes down the big champion. It's a Wonderful Life was the overall number 1 seed in this entire tournament, and Home Alone beat the hell out of it. 49-25 in total votes. It almost doubled it. So that's
Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, that is a slaughter. Not one I agree with. I'm not a fan of it. And to refresh people on the rules, yes, there are multiple Home Alone movies. In this case, if there's multiple of a movie or it was remade like A Christmas Carol, which has already been eliminated, was remade like 7,000 times, you just take the best one that you think exists. So if you like Home Alone 2 more than 1, in this case, you're voting for 2. If you like 1 more than 2, the opposite. So in this case, it's Home Alone 1, 2 are a package. They went up against It's a Wonderful Life, and it was a slaughter. They won. I will say, I like Home Alone 2 way more than 1. Well, not way more, but I like it because it's in New York City, and I also like the, in hindsight, the Donald Trump cameo has aged so terribly, and I also like that Tim Curry is the concierge because I'm a huge fan of Rocky Horror Picture Show, so it cracks me up when he's like not a sweet transvestite.
He also is Pennywise, so it's a pretty interesting.
Yeah, he's pretty
from Pennywise to Rocky Horror to Home Alone.
He is an eclectic thespian, British thespian,
and the butler in Clue, right?
Yeah. So Home Alone's moving on. It's into the Elite 8 here. Rock solid Christmas movie. I don't have any problem inherently with Home Alone. I just wouldn't have voted for it. Like, to me, this would have been a terrible matchup for Home Alone. Turns out it was the opposite. I have a feeling, Jake, you are perfectly happy with how this turned out.
Oh, I'm extremely happy. Here's the thing, okay? It's a Wonderful Life is a great movie. Yes, it is a great movie. It's a Wonderful Life. But compared to what this competition is about, which is the aspect of Christmas holiday movie, it is not on Home Alone's level. It is a great movie. Go throw it up for the Oscars. Have fun with your, artsy, beautiful film and how it resolves. Home Alone is by through and thin a Christmas movie, and it is a rewatchable movie year after year. And it has a bunch of actors in it that are classic actors. And yeah, you talked about Tim Curry. We talk about Rob Schneider. And you called it out, the lady, the orphanage lady from Angels in the Outfield.
Maggie. I don't know her real name. But she's Maggie in Angels in the Outfield.
Then you have I think the toy store owner, Duncan, is like some famous actor, I'm pretty sure. But
he's something.
Yeah, he's something. I actually like the second one better, to be honest. But yeah, It's a Wonderful Life. Great movie. Totally understand why people would vote for it. I don't think it should have won. It didn't win. I think Home Alone now has a real scary chance to win this whole thing. But yeah, talking about kind of progressing in the future here, Home Alone is just it's got every element of Christmas that you want. It's got the music, it's got the cheer, it's got the feel-good nature of something happening and then something miraculous happening by the end of the movie. Family oriented, there's gift giving, you name it, Home Alone has it. The one take that I'll have on Home Alone is that Kevin McAllister is the bad guy. He's not the good guy.
Oh, you mean Jigsaw?
He is. Yeah, exactly. Macaulay Culkin, Kevin McAllister, he is the bad guy. He's a jerk. He is not the good guy by any means in this movie. And commits a lot of crimes in the process of it. But obviously it's a kid movie and he escapes untouched and not in prison. But
yeah, so you're making my argument for me. Is everything you named that was positive about Home Alone also applies to It's a Wonderful Life. As Austin points out, which by the way, he's bringing the heat in the comment section. It's ranked the 20th best movie of all time, according to the American Film Institute. And it also, by the way, like, yeah, there's gift giving. It's family oriented. It's the most inspirational movie you can think of. It's got an outcome that is centered around Christmas and giving and friendship, and it has even a religious aspect of it with angels and guardian angels and whatnot. Again, Home Alone, and I'm going with 2 in this case. Again, New York City makes it better, and Maggie's better than that old dude. Which, by the way, the other old dude, the one you were talking about, the owner in Rookie of the Year, as Melvin points out, which is a great addition to this conversation. And he would point that out because he's a big Cubs fan. So, yeah, the owner of Rookie in the movie Rookie of the Year is the old dude who owns the toy store.
Oh, he is talking. Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the agent for some reason. Like the agent? Oh, the owner. Yeah. Definitely.
So anyway, that's my issue is that but look, I get it. Like I said, what did in It's a Wonderful Life is exactly what I thought was going to do it in. Either people haven't seen it, they didn't like it because it was black and white and it's old. Whatever. I think it's run. I mean, the movie's been out for 80 years. It's probably run its course for generations. Like it's not going to get more popular, I think, as time goes on. And as Austin points out, by the way, when that movie came out, it wasn't popular then either. It did not do well in the box office. It became a cult classic afterwards during the holiday season.
Which one?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh yeah.
And I think, and by the way, Donna Reed and Jimmy Stewart, no pushover. That's an all-star cast in their time too. But look,
Chris Columbus wasn't attached to It's a Wonderful Life.
Right. His dad might have been probably. His dad, Christopher Columbus, might have been. Yeah.
His dad, Christopher.
But yeah. So I get it.
Underrated explorer.
Home Alone's enjoyable. If you talk to a bunch of boomers, they're going to get angry about this outcome. In this case, I am a boomer, but yeah, I agree with you, though. If you make it out of the classics in this bracket, you have a real good shot to win the championship because this was a loaded bracket that it's in. And now it's one win away from representing it. So that was the first matchup. Home Alone almost doubles up It's a Wonderful Life. That's moving on again. And my other problem was it's like, yeah, it's mostly crime and violence and whatnot. That's like not Christmas oriented. All you get in It's a Wonderful Life is he gets punched in the face at the bar. So whatever.
He does.
And he hits a
Home Alone is like the Arizona Cardinals of 2008. Was it 8?
The buzzsaw year. Yeah.
Where's Corey Decker when you need him? And they destroyed the Packers. It's a Wonderful Life to move on to the next round. So
yeah. It's a buzzsaw right now. So what are you gonna do? And thank you for the comments there. So yeah, It's a Wonderful Life loses to Home Alone. Home Alone is moving on, and it's going to face. I'm right on this, right? Austin's going to face the winner of this matchup: A Christmas Story versus Christmas Vacation.
You are correct.
Okay, so here we go. 2 movies with Christmas in the title, indisputably Christmas movies as a result. Number 4 seed Christmas Story. And to remind everyone before you cry, the seedings are based on actual movie rankings by critics. They're not based on like fan favorite or anything. That's why Christmas Vacation, though probably a 1 seed in the hearts of many, is a 7 seed in this tournament. And it did not disappoint. Finally, Jake, my least favorite movie in this entire bracket got the beatdown it deserved. I mean, beatdown, and it was awesome. And Christmas Vacation's moving on. Austin, put in those numbers so I could look at them and just be so excited again to relive the slaughter that was this matchup.
This makes me so sad.
Yeah, you put them in and you be sad about it.
Christmas Story makes me so sad. It's terrible.
46 to 17. This one almost tripled A Christmas Story, which pleases me greatly. Goodbye, Ralphie. Goodbye, kid who has some weird paper put on his tongue after he gets it stuck to the ice pole. Goodbye, parents who can't pronounce simple words like fragile and have stupid taste in lamps. Goodbye, Midwestern centric movie where no one knows where these people live because it's in the middle of nowhere. Goodbye, weird throwback to whatever era this was in that was just terrible and that's terrible acting. And goodbye, BB guns and everything else. I couldn't be more
goodbye,
pleased.
Raccoon hat wearing CEO of a famous
weird bully
exchange now.
Weird bully who looks like he belongs with the Lost Boys. Yeah, exactly.
He's
See ya.
he's literally Roger Klotz from Doug.
Yeah, let me make everyone even angrier. To quote Michael K, see ya. It's gone. So there we go. Jake, what are your thoughts on this? I'm just gonna stand here and smile.
First of all, A Christmas Story has the wrong title. Christmas Vacation should actually be called A Christmas Story because that's the better story of Christmas.
Great point. Perfect point. Yep, Austin, you're wrong.
And go watch the movie 8-Bit because that's a much better version of what Christmas Story should have been. And that just came out like a day ago.
Preach.
It's really bad. Like even the ultimate climax of Ralphie beating up the bully just doesn't look real or realistic at all. Like there's no way. He's even got his like mittens on and he's like punching the kid. Like it's not gonna hurt. Get up, eat him with your braces. It's hot garbage. And I realize we'll probably lose some friends after this thing. We probably had some of the craziest back and forth posts we've ever had last night in reference to
getting heated.
I just went ham on Christmas Story and Pop Culture Life and just I hate it entirely. The leg lamp is the dumbest prop in the history of cinema. It doesn't make any sense why any one man would want that trash in the first place. And speaking of trash, that's where A Christmas Story is going to live for the eternity of this bracket. And I am so happy. Christmas Vacation moves on to face Home Alone. This matchup could have been a finals matchup. And as far as the nostalgia and enjoyment of holiday movies, Christmas Vacation is everything we need in a Christmas movie. I mean, I feel like I've said the same things every week, and it's just because the movie is so damn good. Chevy Chase just has some incredible lines to the point where I don't know many other movies outside of like Home Alone and maybe Elf where they make a ton of clothing with the quotes from, or merchandise in general, with the quotes from a movie. Christmas Vacation may be the most quotable movie in this whole competition. And it's just awesome. Like everything about it is fantastic. And I love the fact that it's like, there's a ton of snow the whole time too. Like sometimes I feel like that's like an underrated aspect of the holiday season is like the snow impact.
Yeah.
And in this movie, it's just like everywhere throughout the whole time. And the decorations, like even like he pulls out the subtleties of like he pulls out this giant twisted and all the strings of lights are just combined. Like he's gonna take hours to unravel that, and like that alone is like just like a shot to the dome of, I can relate to this man so much because last year I just said, when I cleaned up all my Christmas decor, I just threw it all in the freaking garage. And I was like, that would be my next year's problem. Then when it is your problem, you're like, oh my God, I have to untangle all these damn Christmas lights. And he's fucking stapling those lights to the gutter of his house instead of just putting staples in there and putting the lights on the staples every year, which is exactly what I do for some stupid reason. So maybe because I can personally relate to this man so much, but it's so good. And it's got the Christmas music, which is a huge button for me. Have Christmas music if you're going to make a Christmas movie. And at the end of the movie is pretty hilarious with the whole singing of the national anthem as fireworks are going off. Like not needed, but just hilarious. So really, really good job. Christmas Story. I got a few last words for you before I finish my rant. Kiss my ass, kiss his ass, kiss your ass.
So a Christmas Vacation I'm very excited for. Like I said, I personally think this is going to win the championship. I was a little nervous. I mean, Christmas Story, there's a lot of people who swear by that movie, and going up against Christmas Vacation, I was like, I don't understand how you can possibly, like, even if you have that like defect that makes you like A Christmas Story, I didn't understand how you can like it more than Christmas Vacation. And on top of that, there's some people in that group who didn't like Christmas Vacation like by itself. And
there's
that
someone
really
on this podcast that feels that way.
Yeah, that confuses me. So to see it win 46-17 kind of revigorate, like I still think it's a huge juggernaut. Now it's going to get an even bigger test because going up against Home Alone. These two movies, if you told me the other side of the bracket was going to be It's a Wonderful Life and whatever, I'd be like, okay, this is how it should be, is Home Alone's going up against Christmas Vacation, because those are two. I would like, if I was picking 4 maybe top 6 movies for Christmas, they'd both be in it. So I don't have any problem with them being in the Elite 8. They both deserve to be there. Christmas Vacation, though, yeah, for Ricky, who said that it was a Chicago problem with me with Home Alone, that is, see, now that's not true, because Christmas Vacation is also a Chicago oriented movie, and I don't have any problem with it. I love that movie. It's Indiana that I hate, like in A Christmas Story. So we have Christmas Vacation. And a part I forgot about this, besides the fact at one point Chevy Chase is trying to stay warm in the attic, and he's like dressed in his like grandmother's shawl. I totally forgot that scene. Is also when he goes riding on the dish, like he's in, we used to do that when we were kids. Was we had this big retention basin in our neighborhood, and we'd go sledding down when it snowed in New Jersey. Obviously in Florida that's not something people do, but when it was
butter it up so much you flew.
No, so that's what's funny to me about that scene, is that, I mean, obviously it would never happen, but it's hilarious to like take that to an exaggerated conclusion. Because for us, it's like, if you got to the bottom of the hill without stopping, that was a successful run. Then you have to like drag your ass back to the top of the hill again while it's snowing in your snow boots and do it again. It's exhausting. But in his case, he like flew across town in that thing. And the only thing I'm thinking of, besides the fact he should have died, is that he has to go all the way back with that, and that sucks. But that scene, it only makes me laugh more. And then also the fact that a cat is harmed in that movie by being wrapped up also pleases me, because cats are terrible. So all of that is very good. It's got like the good geriatric grandparents who are like senile and extremely unhelpful, which is always the case in every event that has to do with the holidays. Like, you have to invite them, but they're also like a pain in the ass, and it's great. And like I've touched on before,
what was that green stuff? Is that gelatin?
Gelatin
that they eat, and then like he's like eating the crisp.
And they're only doing it to appease the grandmother or whatever who made it. Like, that's what's so funny about it. And then they find out that the cat was like licking it or whatever. I have to watch it again, even though I've seen it 50 times.
Chevy Chase is just like, they're like eating that turkey that's like done, like it was over, like burnt, and he's just like,
yeah. By the way, Austin,
constantly, it's great.
Austin pointing out, you can see the Christmas Story house and tour it for $10 if you want to waste 10. Here's my Midwest advice for you guys. I'm guessing, Austin, is that house in Indiana? Do you know?
Yes.
Okay. So here's my advice for you guys. If there's 2 things about the Midwest, and it does not include like, just don't visit Kansas or Iowa, because there's no point. But if there are 2 destinations to never waste money on, it's $10 at the Christmas Story house in Indiana. And then you have to be in Indiana on top of that. And also $16 to see the Arch in St. Louis is the biggest waste of money in the world, because all they do is they take you up in like the Scientology pod, leave you in the Arch for like 5 minutes while people supervise you, and you basically are looking through submarine windows at water, and you have to pay $16 for that, when reality is you could just see the Arch from the outside and be like, oh, I can imagine what it's like to just be like 100 feet in the air. Because if you've ever been to any major city in a building, you know what that view already looks like. So don't waste your money on the Arch. Don't waste your money on the Christmas Story. You'll save yourself $26. You're welcome.
I really want to know what type of producer Peter Billingsley was for Iron Man. I can't believe that, Austin. I saw you post that.
I could check.
He's Ralphie, the little kid from A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Why are we still talking about this movie?
Yeah,
sorry.
No, we're moving on from this. So Christmas Vacation versus Home Alone. That's a juggernaut matchup. What's your winner there?
Oh God, this is really hard, because it's like, I will say that like I have a split here. Like, the kid in me, if I was a kid, I would have gone Home Alone, like running away, right?
Yeah.
But the adult in me is like, oh, this is hard. This is really hard, because I am very impressed when movies make sequels or prequels and they're just as good, if not better, than the original.
Yeah.
And I feel like Home Alone did that with the second one. Obviously, the ones that followed were awful, but the second one was so good, if not better. And I feel that way for things like Major League 2 and Dark Knight and some other sequels. But Christmas Vacation as an adult, and even more so a dad, has become like, next to Jingle All the Way, it's probably second in my rotation now. Like I go every year,
Yeah.
like Jingle All the Way first, my favorite. Christmas Vacation, the Santa Claus trilogy, Fred Claus, and so on and so on. And so I do think Christmas Vacation is the better holiday movie. In a sense that to me, it's like literally about Christmas. Like that's it. Like Home Alone is about Christmas, yes, but it's more so about the fact that Kevin's lost somewhere, whether home or
Yeah.
New York, and the theme is really built around that. And Christmas is just like a overcast of a background thing. Where Christmas Vacation is just it's purely about Christmas. Everything about it is Christmas centric. And so I think it deserves to win for that reason. And I think it will win based upon the votes that I've seen coming from Christmas Vacation every step of the way. Round 1, 51 votes. Round 2, 46 votes. I think it'll be in the 40s again in this round. I wouldn't be surprised though, Vince, if this is our highest voted matchup in the entire competition.
Yeah, if I'm going to put on my 1 month of experience at the Quinnipiac Polling Institute circa 2006, what I'm going to say is I think this will be the highest voted one. I think that these are probably, if I had to guess, the top 2 movies left in the entire bracket, and they happen to be facing each other. And I do think Christmas Vacation is going to win, which I have the kiss of death. So now Home Alone's probably going to win. But you kind of hit the nail on the head for me in that Home Alone is very much about Kevin's survival. There's a lot of Christmas themes within it, and the theme of forgiveness and the theme of, caring and non-family kind of becoming family because, they kind of take each other under their wings, the old people and Kevin. And then it's really too about the family itself is so dysfunctional, but when they realize a member of their family's missing, it becomes then all about love. So Home Alone's got that going for it, but Christmas Vacation is every single person who grew up with or eventually entered into Christmas celebrations can relate to that movie in some way. You cannot find it funny. There's a lot of people who have a weird problem with Chevy Chase, which I get now. He is a giant.
I'm seeing this in the comments here.
Yeah, he's a giant D-bag as a person. He's kind of
sure.
He's not Mel Gibson, but he's he's that kind of people hate him. But back then,
what's with holiday actors and just being jerks? We got Bing Crosby up in there.
There's all kinds of SNL stories about how hard he is to work with. I get it. That doesn't really factor in for me here. I think he's funny in that movie. He does a good job in that movie. But mainly, that movie is entirely centered around Christmas from the first scene when they're out getting the tree to the final scene. So when the boss is basically apologizing for screwing him on his holiday bonus, it all connects there.
Even the theme of taking each day in the Advent calendar, taking each day, it's 20. You know what I mean? That just even shows that how much dedication, National Lampoon's movies gave to the theme of Christmas. So
yeah, exactly.
Austin, was It's a Wonderful Life and Home Alone the highest votes we've had so far as a matchup in this competition?
Good question. Let me look.
I think it had to be
that matchup, the It's a Wonderful Life and Home Alone.
Yeah.
Let's see. It looks like it, but let me make sure.
All right. Yeah, let us know because I am curious if Home Alone and Christmas Vacation break that record next round.
By the way, in the interim, Ricky saying that winner takes home the Jelly of the Month Club membership, which is an A+.
Much better than donating to the Human Fund.
Yeah,
just barely. Yes,
okay. It did. Okay. Wow.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Well, so that's a juggernaut matchup. I'm very excited to see Christmas Vacation versus Home Alone. Official prediction from both of us is that Christmas Vacation moves on. Austin, I know you don't like Christmas Vacation, but do you think it's going to beat Home Alone?
It's really difficult because Home Alone steamrolled It's a Wonderful Life.
That's true.
But I think Christmas Vacation will edge it out, sadly. I don't want it to be that way, but I think it will end up being that way. And we've talked privately. One thing, there are a few situations where I'll be really upset. And one of the things I will be upset at is if Christmas Vacation wins this whole thing. But it's very, It's very plausible, and I'm already gearing up to be mad.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it. That's unfortunately probably a likely situation.
Yeah, your pain is my pleasure. In case, by the way, any of you thought we, weren't sure if we were nerds or not. Yes, we talk about pop culture life polling for best Christmas movie in our spare time privately.
Yes. Yeah,
So
quite frequently, actually.
yes. And speaking of things discussed privately, this next matchup, I think this next matchup caused the most ire of
real quick before we go there.
Yeah.
Before we go there, let's give our predictions and our actual vote count. So I'm gonna go Christmas Vacation, 51 to 46 is my prediction for this matchup.
That would easily blow the vote count out of the water.
Yeah, that requires 90 some odd people to vote on it. Okay, 51-46. I'll go with that.
I'm gonna go 49-44. Okay. Would that be the record? Would that still be the record, Austin?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I'm good with that. 49-44. My theory here is that
over 74 votes to break the record.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be wrong about this. I don't think that we're going to get a new. The thing is, because the other ones were blowouts, I think that's why you had the high totals. So if I feel like there's going to be a little split vote here, and you're still going to have the biggest pool. But if it's going to be close, which I think it will be, I don't see anyone getting into like the 50s or anything. But we'll see. So
Austin?
Yeah, Austin, what's yours before we move on to Die Hard and Lethal Weapon?
I think Christmas Vacation will win 44-42.
Okay. Ooh, damn, that's where Ricky changes his vote at the last second when it's
Ricky's
So good. So we move on to the Misfits section, which has caused just a lot of frustration. The fun thing about polls and really just any leadership in life in general, it doesn't even have to be on Facebook, is you basically have to explain the same thing like 500 times to people. And one of those things we've had to explain 500 times is why the Misfit categories even exist, because there's argument over whether Lethal Weapon or Die Hard or Batman Returns before it or Gremlins are Christmas movies at all. And we fully recognize, like, I wouldn't consider, I fall on the side of the category for Die Hard where it's not a Christmas movie. I get the elements, not enough for me. And same with Lethal Weapon. But I also understand you can't really have a bracket of best Christmas movie and just be like drawing a line in the sand. So Die Hard and Lethal Weapon are going to go where they go, and they happen to face each other in the second round. And I think predictably, when you have two movies like this time the seedings were right. Die Hard came in as a 1, facing 6 as a Lethal Weapon. And Die Hard, I think, if I remember correctly, Austin won pretty handily.
Pretty handedly, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get those totals up there.
You guys want to take a guess? It's pretty bad.
I'm gonna say like 40-15 or something.
I think it's even worse. I'm gonna say 41-8.
Ooh, Vince, you were close. 44-9.
Wow. Yeah, that's really bad. So, by the way, I like both of these movies.
I love both of them.
Yeah, even
I might have actually enjoyed Lethal Weapon more as a movie.
I've seen Lethal Weapon more recently, and I also kind of give credit to Lethal Weapon because I like the entirety of those movies more than I like the entirety of Die Hard. Yeah.
Die Hard with a Vengeance was awesome.
What's the one with the phone booth dude? Is that the second or third one?
Phone booth dude.
That's the black guy. Is it Samuel L. Jackson? It's not Samuel L. Jackson, right? The bad guy.
Samuel L. Jackson's the taxi driver.
Maybe.
And Vengeance.
Yeah, it must be Vengeance.
Yeah, Bruce Willis has to go outside with he has to have like a racist sign on him for like something. I don't remember why. And like Sam Jackson picks him up and then they like team up the whole movie. But it's the brother of Alan Rickman's character in the first one. So,
that's right.
And it's Jeremy Irons, who is Scar from Lion King and a bunch of other stuff. But he's
Jeremy Irons. Ari Gold? No, that's Jeremy Piven.
That's Jeremy Piven. Yeah, Jeremy Irons is Scar from Lion King. He's also he's in a ton of stuff. I like feel terrible right now. I can't think of the other stuff he's in. But
sorry, we'll let Austin
he's got a
cover
great
Lethal
accent.
Weapon here in the comment section.
Great
yeah, he does. So anyway, I think I did vote Die Hard in this. mainly for my New Jersey boy Bruce Willis, and Alan Rickman was like one of my favorite actors. So for me, I like Die Hard a lot, but same thing here. I don't consider it a Christmas movie, and I will actually add this conversation. Once it starts facing movies that are not that are Christmas movies definitively, I will no longer vote for it, even if I like
It's
it more.
Scrooged. They're screwed.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Die Hard can have its fun here, and it did. But once we hit that final four where it's facing movies from other brackets, I think it's going to get screwed. So that's my prediction. Is I think Die Hard moving on. I knew it would move on. We'll see who it's about to face, but I don't see it getting past the final four.
No, I would be shocked if it somehow makes it into the final four, and I would be shocked if it takes Home Alone or Christmas Vacation into the champion. There's no way. If it does, then we don't know what the hell we're voting for.
I mean, we've had a good example of really, really terrible outcomes in this bracket.
But there are a lot of morons out there that believe Die Hard is the best Christmas movie ever.
There are several in pop culture life.
That's another situation where I'm going to be really, really upset if that's the outcome.
Yeah, I agree. It can't. This is going to be like Trump 2020. Like, I just feel like everyone who just doesn't love Die Hard is going to vote against it at a certain point, and there's just no way the math will add up. Like, there can't be that many Die Hard truthers who are like, this is the best. Like, you just don't watch that movie, and seriously, if you're being genuine with yourself, you don't watch that movie and you're like, okay, now I'm ready for Christmas. Like, it might be nostalgic for you. Maybe you do it out of some deep-seated protest every year. You do watch it during the holiday season, but you're not watching that and being like, this is the most influential Christmas movie to me. Like, this is really what defines Christmas. It's foolish if you do.
I'm walking out too, Jacob Anthony Moses.
Yeah.
If it wins best, and maybe people will vote for it to see me leave Pop Culture Life, which is fine.
Josh, you can say it's a Christmas movie. That's fine. You cannot say it's the best Christmas movie because it's barely a Christmas movie.
There's no way. It is it's a fantastic movie on its own. Yeah. It is not a fantastic Christmas movie.
I love any fact about Joe Pesci, by the way. I don't know. I just said that like a Canadian. I love any fact about Joe Pesci. Leo gets. So anyway, Die Hard moves on. That's going to face, who do we have here? You got to scroll down a little, Austin. Oh, you're taking Lethal Weapon with you. Okay, so it's going to face the winner of Scrooged and Bad Santa. And outside of It's a Wonderful Life,
rough match.
This was the most upsetting. That's not true. This was the third most upsetting outcome to me. Well, I mean, of this round. I'm upset about many things. This was the third most upsetting to me.
Oh, is Charlie Brown going to be the other one?
Yes, I just realized that's there. So Scrooged beats Bad Santa. And honestly, I would be curious. The people who are watching, we just got like an influx. What don't you like about Bad Santa? Keeping in mind this is the Misfits bracket. So like obviously you can say Home Alone's a better movie. But against Scrooged, which is admittedly a very Christmas movie, I'm very curious, people who don't like Bad Santa, what you don't like about it. Because I just thought it's a rock solid movie. It's an original take on Christmas. It's got Lauren Graham and Billy Bob Thornton, who are like not nobody. So it's got a decent cast. And I don't know. I think I'm out of touch on this one. I really thought Bad Santa was going to win, and it didn't. And it wasn't that close, I don't think. Scrooge 34, yeah. Bad Santa 23. That's a very giant score to lose by.
I feel like that's a score of like they were winning a close battle, and then in the fourth quarter they got like a garbage touchdown because Bad Santa had to go for a Hail Mary on 4th and 17 and whatever. But this category called the Misfits is like genius, because if you look at the spread of movies in this category, they're all like pissed off people on Christmas. Like, if you talk about the two most pissed off people on Christmas in this competition, that is Billy Bob Thornton and Bill Murray in both of these movies, Scrooge and Bad Santa. And so it's really a battle of just like who's the better like dry humor upset person on Christmas that's trying to not be merry. But this was a shocking one to me. I thought we would have a lot more people who have seen Bad Santa but hadn't seen Scrooged.
Yes, I'm
But the
surprised by how many people have seen Scrooged in
But yeah,
general.
but I mean, I was pretty bullish on Scrooge from the get-go, and I do think it's a phenomenal movie, highly underrated if you haven't seen it. And for those people who are like, well, Jake, you don't like It's a Wonderful Life as much, you don't like Christmas Story because you're not aged in your movie watching. It's like, no, that's not true. I love A Christmas Carol, I love A Christmas Vacation, and I also love Scrooge. So Scrooged you. And I think that Scrooge deserves to win. I am shocked that it won. Bad Santa's a great flick, but I don't think it's as good of a Christmas movie as Scrooged is.
What
So
weirds me out even more about this, Jake, is Scrooge barely beat Gremlins. It won 35-31. And then Bad Santa destroyed. I mean, granted, Tokyo Godfather is like 3 people have seen. It wins 36-4 in the first round, and then
Tokyo
Scrooge wins
Godfathers is
handily.
like Grambling State versus Ohio State.
I
So
get it, but
you
it's
can't
like
compare the two.
Bad Santa had far. I mean, I guess it's really Scrooge that confuses me. It beats Gremlins 35-31, and then it almost puts up the same amount of votes against Bad Santa. It
Well, the
surprises
same
me.
34 people voted again. And
Is
lucky
this
for
a
them,
Chicago thing? Because Bill
and,
Murray's in it?
and lucky for them, 13 people from Bad Santa decided to not vote this round. That's what we'll chalk it up to.
I guess so. And then I'm not going to make Austin do this, but I'm very curious, by the way, because this has me thinking the Christmas movies with the most votes by the end of this bracket based on setting, like city. I'm curious if New York Christmas
Oh
movies
yeah,
are
how
more
many
popular
different
than Chicago.
cities? That's fair.
I'll have to run those numbers after the show.
I'm guessing New York and Chicago.
8-bit, which just came out as Chicago too.
I'm
I
guessing New York and Chicago are top 2 in some order, just placed based on most movies that have settings in Christmas in those cities. And I'm counting, by the way, Batman Returns as New York, even though it's a made up city.
Whoa. Gotham is absolutely a split of Chicago and New York. So
The cultural influence, though, is New York. Like, I think they film scenes in Chicago, but the premise is Gotham. Like, New York City's nickname is Gotham in real life.
yes, that's true. But
Yeah.
I can't speak for Batman Returns actually. I only know how many of the recent movies they filmed in Chicago.
Well, yeah, like Dark Knight, I saw where
Yeah.
it was filmed in Chicago, so I get
Yeah.
that. But it's supposed to be
And
based on New
Pittsburgh.
York. Yes.
And some scenes in Dark Knight Rises in Pittsburgh.
So anyway, I'm curious, based on setting, how many movies out of these are in those areas, and also which one's got the most votes. But neither here nor there. Scrooge moves on. It's facing Die Hard. This is really interesting because Scrooge just proved it can beat a legitimate Christmas movie. It, like Gremlins, to me, I was like, all right, I can understand it winning because that's a Christmas movie.
Hold on. Larry Rodriguez says Gotham is New York City 90%. So do you mean that 10% is reserved for other cities?
Yeah, I think
Chicago,
that's what he's...
or was he trying to say like, like people say like 100%? He said, like 90%.
No, I think he's saying it's a 90-10 split. New York
okay,
and
got it.
Chicago.
Okay, got it. Okay, my bad, Larry.
So yeah, so I'm very intrigued by Scrooge because it beats Gremlins, which is not a traditional Christmas movie. Then it beats Bad Santa, which is. Now it's facing Die Hard, which isn't. But Die Hard is perhaps the biggest competition for a not traditional Christmas.
So here we go. So here's the interesting part. Okay, so now let's go on to the matchup. Scrooged has not put up more than 36 votes in any round. Now it's going up against Die Hard, who only put up 33 the first round, but I think it's probably because it faced Batman Returns, but it put up 44 last round. And we're getting into like the championship rounds here.
Yeah.
So I almost wonder if Die Hard's just going to win solely because there are 40 plus people that want to see it progress. Right? Because Scrooge hasn't proven that it can go beyond 40 people loving that movie, at least more than the other movie. Now I have some serious concern that Die Hard, I think we predicted Die Hard to make the Final Four, but now I have it's like confirming it that I think Die Hard is going to make the Final Four and beat Scrooge. And I
am sticking with my comparison. Die Hard is the Donald Trump base of Christmas movies. It's got the most solid, loyal base that's going to vote for it every single time to prove a point. And it's going to take eventually consolidation of votes, and Scrooge is not it in my book, to defeat it, because there's going to be a point when the diehard base, which looks like it's about 40-ish people, is going to go up against everyone else. And that's the point when Die Hard will lose. So, but I do think it's going to make the Final Four. And I said that in the beginning, and I still stick by it. And it could, in theory, it wouldn't shock me make the championship, but I'd be shocked if it won for that exact math analysis. I do think, however, it's going to beat Scrooge. And let's get into our predictions as we shift to the other side of the bracket. I think it's going to beat Scrooge like 41-30.
41-30 in Die Hard's favor.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a double digit.
I think I'm going 42-35 in favor of Die Hard. No, there's not going to be that many votes. 40 to 35, I'll say. 40 to 35.
Okay.
Yeah, Die Hard's going to take, oh my God, Die Hard's going to win.
It's going to try and take over this election.
Yippee-ki-yay,
so we're going to see how that goes. It is absolutely, I don't even, and look, I'm not saying there's a correlation between actual Trump voters and Die Hard. I'm just saying it's the same phenomenon that we are witnessing in these movies. So we're going to see. Let's move on to the other side of the bracket, which at this point, I'm kind of glad, like the categories.
How did RoboCop not make this competition?
The categories seemed very skewed in the beginning, but as we move on here, we're seeing that I think what's going to come out of each of them is pretty good representation.
Sure.
And no matter what, I mean, obviously in the classics, you're going to get a Juggernaut. And I think that assuming Die Hard beats Scrooge, you're going to get a Juggernaut there. And then the other ones are pretty good. So we move on to the modern category. This was Nightmare Before Christmas against Elf. I was nervous for like a second, Jake. Like I was nervous for a second that Nightmare Before Christmas might have this weird, like hipster renegade fan. Well, because it's
like all the emo kids from middle school came out of the
woodworks. It's like a
works.
Halloween movie, and I feel like okay, like yes, there's another one. Not
a bunch of Under Oath and 9 Inch Nails fans came flocking to the polls.
Like punk rock fans, because again, like that has caused problems in pop culture life this week. But I was a little bit nervous for a few seconds, but went back to my original prediction, which is that Elf will be in the championship, and I wasn't disappointed. Elf wins. Let's post the scores there. So here's my dilemma. I like Elf as a movie. We all know my lack of affinity for Will Ferrell. I think of all of the movies Will Ferrell was a main character in, because that's really what my problem is. I don't dislike Will Ferrell as a person. I think he's a great bit actor. I think his ceiling should have been SNL. I hate him as a main character because I don't find it. It's probably how people feel about Chevy Chase. That's how I feel about Will Ferrell. I just do not find him funny. Unless it's very small doses. Elf is one of the few exceptions. I can tolerate him. I would still say I like the Zooey Deschanel character way more. And Night at the Roxbury is my only other exception. So anyway.
Good.
Yeah. 44-26. Not particularly close. Elf has kind of been just handling business very quietly. It's like the Gonzaga of this tournament. I feel like it's just like kind of doing its business. No one's really paying attention to it. It's getting good numbers and it's moving on. And this wasn't as close as I thought. I really thought for a second Nightmare might give it a scare. It did not. Elf moves on. Are you upset at all about this? Because I know you're a big Nightmare guy, and I know your son's a big Nightmare guy.
Yeah, man, this is tough. Like, I think my initial reaction to the movies, like my initial reaction to Elf, my initial reaction to Nightmare Before Christmas, definitely I'd be personally more in favor of Elf. I think over the years after watching both movies, Nightmare for me is the better movie. I do think it's better. I think it's like the purpose of the movie is around being awakened to Christmas, which is a cool concept in itself. Like, these people don't even know of Christmas existing, and Jack goes and finds out about Christmas. I also love the little theme of like each tree is like a different holiday world. And Elf, well, literally it's the North Pole. He's from the North Pole. He goes to find his real family in the, the real world. But Nightmare Before Christmas is like, I like looking at it, I'm like, it is legitimately Christmas, and like it's a musical. To me, it took more talent to make the movie, to get it done. It is animated, which is I think why it probably doesn't win this competition, but like it really is probably one of the best Christmas movies in this competition, if not next to Christmas Vacation, as far as like theming and kind of commitment to Christmas in its entirety. I think having Halloween be a partner in this movie, some would argue it's more of a Halloween movie, is what had it dead to rights from the beginning. There was no way it was going to win this competition, purely because there, just like on the Die Hard fence, there are a lot of people that believe it's not a Christmas movie and it's purely a Halloween movie. I think when we do the Halloween bracket next year, this could win that whole competition. I could see that happening. And that would be okay with me. But it really is about the spirit of Christmas. And it also has some really interesting themes and kind of resolution as far as the ending goes. Usually you have like, oh, you could be whatever you want to be in life and you wind up becoming it. It's like, no, Jack, you are the Halloween king. That's what you're meant to do. You're not meant to be Santa Claus, buddy. Like, don't be Santa Claus. Like that. When do you ever see that in a movie? Like, no, don't, you're not able to achieve your dreams. Like, I thought that was pretty funny. And they kind of throw in the Jack and Sally romance there at the end, which I'm not crazy about. But from a merch, from a like Halloween costume, from a Halloween decoration, from a Christmas decoration, from a Christmas costume, from all that, Nightmare Before Christmas blows Elf out of the water. No one is running around dressing as Buddy the Elf. Or there probably are people, but not as many as as Jack and Sally.
I think every college kid looking to get laid perpetually dresses up as
maybe,
Buddy the Elf during Christmas time.
Maybe that's the case, but it's probably the lines are more iconic in Elf. Elf wins. It makes sense. I get it. It's fine. I would have liked to have seen Nightmare get the upset here. You're
feeling a little like I did with It's a Wonderful Life and Home Alone on a different scale. I mean, Elf to me is the more I've seen both of them multiple times. Nightmare Before Christmas, I'll admit, the second time I saw it, which was like in the past year, I liked it a lot more than the first. So I do have a respect for that movie. I don't particularly like the music, but I do like it as a movie. And I think it actually is a better movie than Elf. This is one of the rare times when I stray from that, because usually I'm just like, is this the better movie and is it Christmas themed? Yes, that's my vote. But in this case, I went with Elf because I just think it's a better Christmas movie. And it's a little more rewatchable for me too, even though I'm kind of sick of it. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen Elf probably like
Will Ferrell is rewatchable for Vince. Let's make sure this recorded session is played over and over. Look, I don't care if he's a leading man or not. You like him in the movie, that's what matters.
Zoe
you like him in Elf.
Zoe with blonde hair, not as good as Zoe on New Girl with dark hair, but still better than many other people. So that's really like the rewatchable incentive. But no, my wife loves Elf, and she does love Will Ferrell. As my wife, your sister, loves Elf, and she does love Will Ferrell.
That's true.
I basically like, this is a mercy kill for me. Like, I have to watch this every year.
Okay. All right.
But whatever gets her in the Christmas.
Let's move on to this next.
So Elf's going to go up against this winner, and this was I thought a fun matchup. I was not happy. Obviously, Jingle All the Way beat Love Actually the previous round. But again, I was pretty realistic with my expectations of Love Actually. I didn't expect it to go very far. It did not. And he goes up against the Santa Claus, which took out its brother Fred Claus, and now goes to face Jingle All the Way, a 4-7 matchup, just like on the other side of the bracket. I didn't know what to expect in this matchup, because like Arnold is a big following all the time. Like any of his movies, it has like that nucleus, which you need in a polling format, is like that nucleus of hardcore fans. The Santa Claus I love a lot. It's probably my favorite so far on this side of the bracket. Very rewatchable. I don't have a problem with Tim Allen, which I don't know if anyone does, but that'd be weird if you do. And
Wow.
and for me, like it's a really good embodiment of Christmas. I was laughing at your post earlier in Pop Culture Life this week where like, yeah, like Santa just gets like knocked out of commission and no one seems to care any of his
I
employees.
loved that post. I told
Dude, I
everybody.
just realized I'm like watching it for the 70,000th time this weekend, and I'm like, no one cares that this dude just got murdered.
Did he actually
And that's
die or was
well,
he just like, I
no, he
broke my
wasn't
back?
murdered, but
Yeah.
no, he falls off the roof and disintegrates. Like
Oh
that's a
yeah.
wrap, dude.
That's bad. Yeah.
For all we know, he just goes into nothing, not even heaven or hell or anything. He just
Wow.
disintegrates. So like you're just like,
Magic's
what the
gone.
heck? And then the reindeer are just like, yeah, put on the coat, dude. Who cares about the fat jolly guy we were with for God knows how many years? I mean, the elves are
Yeah.
like 1,200 years old. So like that dude is dead and no one cares. Like Bernard is just like, yeah, you're the new Santa, dude. And the rest of the elves are like, here's some hot cocoa. Welcome
Ber-
aboard. Let's not
Bernard
even
kind
warn
of
that dude.
Bernard kind of seems like a dick though. Like it's
That's
he
fair.
probably is like, yeah, whatever. I have a new boss. I'm gonna go
Shannon, that's
smoke
true.
a tree when I get home.
He did wave goodbye. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. And he got to make an appearance in the third one, which Stephen Jones, who's watching, we saw at Oviedo Mall's movie theater. We saw Santa Claus 3 in theaters. Not ashamed to admit it. Martin Short, baby.
You should be ashamed to admit that. Santa Claus, what I love about the Santa Claus is kind of what Shannon touched on. It does a really, really good job and a very digestible job of explaining the magic of Santa. Whether you're a kid or an adult, to me, it's just a very good, it's kind of like the Polar Express. I love that book for that reason. Santa Claus does a good job of capturing that. And that's a big thing to capture in a Christmas movie. And Jingle All the Way, I think, is entertaining. I like Arnold myself. I think it does capture an element of Christmas, which is like the pressure of commercialism. But to me, the Santa Claus is kind of that more pure message, which makes it a little more Christmassy. And I just like it better, but it would not surprise me if people enjoyed watching Jingle All the Way more.
I thought Jingle All the Way was going to be like the New York Giants of '07 in this tournament and just like
make a run,
upset everyone and wind up winning the whole thing. Because I was like, Major League 2 won a while ago. Like I was like, this could possibly win. Like I was shocked at what it did to Love Actually. I was very happy, but I was shocked. And like, it's unfortunate it had to meet another juggernaut in the next round of this competition in the Santa Claus. Jingle All the Way is my personal favorite movie in the Christmas holiday realm. It's my tradition. I have a few friends. It's their tradition. It's my wife's Christmas tradition movie. And it's great. There's not a bad moment in this movie. Very rewatchable. A lot of relatable things similar to Chevy Chase. If you're a dad in the holiday world of your kid wants a certain toy that's selling out, oof, you're in for a long road ahead. It's got some fun cameos in it. It's got I think Chris Parnell's actually like a toy store guy that laughs at him when in the beginning he's like, oh, is there, is the Turbo Man here? And they start laughing at him like, no, it's been sold out for weeks, you moron. We got Beast Man or the other guy, what's his name? And so
Booster.
it's Booster, thank you, Beast Man. He looks like Beast from the East, and that's why I called him Beast Man, Booster. Who's played by Booger from Revenge of the Nerds. This movie was great, and unfortunately it met the Santa Claus. The Santa Claus is awesome. Like it's a really good movie. Like Disney does, there's a feel good side of it, and it does a great job of, even though it's for the kids, there's a lot of jokes in the movie that are meant for the adults. And Tim Allen is awesome in it. And you even have Judge Reynolds in it. He's great. He plays Neil, and his sweaters are just terrible. But yeah, it's a good movie. I know, Vince, you were saying that you like the kid acting better in the Santa Claus versus the Jingle All the Way with Jake Lloyd. I don't know if I'm that far
I
on
like
it,
anything that's against Jake Lloyd as far as children acting goes.
Jake Lloyd's pretty bad. But the Santa Claus, it makes sense to win here. I'm okay with it because I do love the Santa Claus. I hope it beats the living shit out of Elf in this next round. I really want that to happen. Sorry, Mel, my sister.
So yeah, that's where things get interesting. Santa Claus beats Jingle All the Way 40-27, which I really thought that, thinking it was a toss-up, I thought that'd be a close vote, and it really wasn't. Santa Claus won pretty handily, which now indicates to me there's a following there, which I really thought going into the tournament. I mean, I don't know why I necessarily thought this. I really thought I was kind of in the minority there that I thought like Santa Claus is really underrated as far as Christmas movies go, but so far the voting has backed me up here. It's going up against Elf. Elf is one of those movies. I don't know of anyone, maybe Shannon, she's very passionate about this movie. I don't know of anyone where Santa Claus is their favorite Christmas movie. I know a lot of people that Elf is, not just my wife. So that's kind of the element I'm seeing going into here, but Santa Claus has done really well vote-wise.
As a kid, it was my favorite. So I wound up growing up and Jingle All the Way became my favorite. And like I said, Christmas Vacation recently. But the Santa Claus for a long time in my life as a kid, that was my favorite movie of the bunch.
This would also be an excellent bracket to do like 12 and under.
Yeah,
we
it would,
never
yeah.
do it because we'd be arrested, but it would be a fantastic thing. Austin, we should have that, you bring that into your classroom and just be like, fill this out.
Speaking of getting arrested
Yeah.
for minor stuff, there is a scene in the Santa Claus which I didn't really realize till I watched it the other day, where he first goes to the North Pole after the night of taking on the coat, and he's sitting down with Judy, who served him the hot cocoa, and she's like, it took me 1,200 years to make this recipe, or some ungodly number of years. And he goes, you look really good for your age, which, like is a comment. It's a funny comment considering she's 1,200 years old and she looks like a kid, right? But she takes it as like a flirtatious thing. So she says, thank you, but I'm actually dating someone in toys or something like that, or in rapping. I'm dating someone in rapping. And it's just like that little like commentary to me is hilarious that they put that in there, and it's very risque. Like that's a risky line that today probably wouldn't gel at
That's
all.
like Tim Allen in a nutshell. If you ever watch Home Improvement, there's like a lot of that.
He's just a pedo in every.
He's
every
like
movie.
a little subtle as far as it's kind of like what appeals to people about SpongeBob, even though I hate that as a show. Like there's a little bit of adult element that it's kind of unassuming in there. But yeah, I mean, Santa Claus is great all around, and I do think this is going to be another bloodbath. I mean, they almost all are going to be at this juncture of a bracket, but I think Elf's going to win. I'm with you, Jake. I will vote for Santa Claus. I think it's more entertaining.
All right, wow,
but
what betrayal to my sister.
Yeah,
I love it.
But as a courtesy, I'll tag her so she can cancel out my vote. But I do think that Elf's gonna win and still make the final four.
All right, let's go. Let's vote it. Austin, why don't you start us off? What's your number count and who do you have taking it?
Between Santa Claus and Elf.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Elf wins. Elf wins 40 to. Oh man, this one's tough. 40 to 35.
Mm-hmm. I want the Santa Claus to win. I unfortunately think Elf will, given the previous round totals that it's come up with. And it's been like 40 or 50, 44 or 51, it looks like. Santa Claus is not topped 44. So I'm going to go Elf 45, and I'm going to say Santa Claus, unfortunately, 30.
Wow. I'm going to go. I think this could be one of those things that's like stuck in the 20s and then gets a big push at the end because it's close. I'm going to say 43-29. I think, or 43-39. Sorry. I think Elf wins. So I do think Elf's going on. By the way, I'm shocked. Larry Rodriguez's favorite Christmas movie is Love Actually. We almost disagree on everything in life except being Yankee fans. So
he's definitely going to take back voting me president of Pop Culture Life.
Yeah. Now I should add, Love Actually is not my favorite Christmas movie, but as I mentioned, when all of this started, it's on my Rushmore of them. So I'm just surprised about that. Anyway, so there we are. Santa Claus Elf. That might be the most.
Sequel's terrible. Jingle All the Way. I don't know how
it really
is.
It's really bad.
Larry the Cable Guy is the worst thing that has happened to pop culture in a very long time, and he has one of the worst expressions ever. Oh,
terrible. All right, let's move on to this next matchup here.
So the next matchup is Grinch Who Stole Christmas against Claus.
Or Klaus, as your friend said.
Klaus. It is
right?
Klaus.
Klaus, yeah,
Klaus, as your friend said.
ignorant to Germans. Which, speaking of, I don't know if he's German or not, but Kevin Gausman going to the Blue Jays. Little baseball news for you.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the Grinch up against Klaus. Klaus is one of those movies that I think if you had like intellectual movie buffs, it would probably like go to the championship. We don't have that in pop culture life, so we just have normal people. So I'm not surprised at all. A Grinch Stole Christmas, I think we said, Jake, has the easiest path to the Final Four coming out of this category. And it is the 1 seed, so it's also the favorite in this region, and it didn't disappoint. It wins. I think this was like a pounding, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Austin?
Yes, you are correct. Unfortunately, Klaus did lose 53-4. But I don't think this is very indicative of how good of a movie Klaus is. I just watched it today. If you've never seen Klaus, go watch it. If I knew what it was before Grinch, voting, I'd have voted for Klaus.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think
I
that's
gotta
the
go back and rewatch it. I have to rewatch this now.
Is 53 the most in any
So,
round?
I think it's gotten the most.
so.
I think it's the only movie that's hit 53 and 61.
Yeah, Grinch scored 61 votes in the previous match against the British Santa Claus movie.
Good. I mean, granted,
It's been handed
two
the Final
softballs,
Four.
yeah, but still, that is kind of scary.
So it's gotten between 2 rounds.
I want to meet these people who are like the Grinch man. That's what I'm gonna. Is because I was joking. I'm like, how do you see a poll in a group you belong to? Because you could see how many people see it and just not vote. Like it takes literally one button to cast a vote, and there's so many more people who see these polls and don't vote. But for the Grinch, they're like, I better make sure I get my vote in so it can beat Klaus by 49. So I don't understand that logic at all. But I agree with you, Jake. I think this is that typical team that just has the easiest competition, kind of like your Patriots this year. They're just like destroying bad teams, and people are like, oh my God, they're going to win the Super Bowl. And the second they face someone who's remotely good, they're going to lose.
Now you're going to make me go into their schedule.
Don't do that. We don't have time.
They destroyed the Browns. They destroyed the Titans. The Titans were the 1 seed.
The Titans is legit, but Derrick Henry's out for the season.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, it's going to happen eventually.
Doesn't matter. Oh my God. They should have beat the Bucks and they should have beat the Cowboys.
But they didn't. So there you go. So I mean, the Grinch, it's not surprising it's still in it. I'm a little surprised by the scores, but that's going to go up against, who's this now? Muppet Family Christmas took on Charlie Brown. Is that right?
Yes, you are correct.
So here's a foreteased matchup that makes me the second angriest besides It's Wonderful Life losing. And that is Muppets Family Christmas against Charlie Brown Christmas. Now, I'm not particularly that passionate about Muppet Family Christmas. I'm actually more passionate about Muppet Christmas Carol because I think that's the second best Christmas Carol ever made. But I am passionate about how terrible Charlie Brown Christmas is. And not only just Charlie Brown Christmas, but everything Peanuts. Like, I've never found anything about Peanuts remotely entertaining. I hate Charlie Brown himself because he's such a wuss. And I also hate, what's her face? Lucille? Is that her name? Angelica? What's
Lucy?
Definitely
yeah.
Angelica.
I getting it confused.
Angelica is Hey Arnold.
No, it's Rugrats.
No,
right?
it's Rugrats.
Yeah.
Oh, it is Rugrats. That's right.
Which I also hate.
Who is Hey Arnold?
Hey Arnold is Helga.
Yeah, that I'm okay with, but I hate Rugrats and I hate Charlie Brown.
Put up a poll. Who's the worst of the? We should just throw in like what's her name? Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka and that.
Oh my God.
I like Snoopy as a dog, but I hate him as the MetLife symbol. So I mean, I just hate Charlie Brown, and I really didn't think it would last this long. I don't know why, because no one particularly likes Polar Express or Muppets Family Christmas, but Charlie Brown, I think, again, won pretty handily here.
Yes, it did. Charlie Brown Christmas won 40-20.
Yeah, that's ugly.
Doesn't surprise me.
It should have been a little closer.
I will say that, like, as much as I don't like Charlie Brown, having kids,
Yeah.
like, they love it.
Oh, God.
And a lot
One.
of kids love it, which is crazy to me. But a lot of people are big into the Peanuts and Charlie Brown. So this is probably the one like statement I'll make in my life that contradicts myself. But joking, obviously. Charlie Brown, I don't like, and I think I'm wrong for not liking it. And I don't know why I don't like it, but I don't. And I think I'm wrong. And I think there's a
No.
huge backing behind Charlie Brown.
But
And
they're all wrong.
that could be. I would
Yeah.
say that, but there's so many people that love Charlie Brown and love this movie that I don't think it's going to beat the Grinch. I think the Grinch is going to win this handedly, and it's going to get smoked in the next round. But there might be a shot. It could be like a 38-34 matchup in this round where Charlie Brown shocks us, or keeps it close.
I think Grinch will win. At this point, to me, it's like name brand. Polar Express people know about, but it doesn't have a particular, like, no one is like a cult following of Polar Express. Muppets Family Christmas, I don't think most people have seen. 5 Years Without a Santa, like, no one's seen. So I really think these two have just gotten here based on name brand. And if you're going with the Grinch, a Dr. Seuss versus Charlie Brown Christmas, I think that Grinch is going to win, and that's kind of what I'm basing it on.
I would love to see what people. I would love to have, like, in this poll, people post which Grinch they're voting for.
Yeah.
I'd be so curious to know if it's more people on the Jim Carrey side or more on the classic that came out. Now, I will say that the Old Grinch, like, a ton of kudos to that movie, because it's literally like almost a shot for shot of the book, and they turn it into like a really good animated film of the Grinch, but it's like a shot for shot of the Dr. Seuss book, which is pretty cool. And they obviously added singing and all this other stuff. The music in that movie is hilarious. Like, I don't know. You should go back and watch if you haven't seen it in a while, because it's like the things they say about the Grinch, like, are just hilarious to me. And so, yeah, it should win. I think both are great. I like both the Jim Carrey version and I like the old version. I like the old version better. I probably would vote for that one over Charlie Brown. Well, I vote for both of them over Charlie Brown, but I think the old one is the better movie.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the old one is a better movie. I like your score prediction too. I'll say 39-33. I think Grinch takes it. I don't see either of these getting 40. So that said, they'll probably both get into the 60s. And so I mean, that's my prediction. What do you guys think? Are you sticking with 38-34, Jake?
Yeah, I'm gonna go 38-34 Grinch on this one. And yeah, Charlie Brown doesn't deserve to be here. I think you're right. Like, it's a happen. This side of the bracket was just bleh. But it had to happen, and I think the Grinch had an easy ticket to the Final Four. It's one of those, like, like I don't know, like, I feel like this is more of like a classic Gonzaga. Like, it gets a 1 seed and then just flops in the end because it just barrels through easy competition in the first or second round and then runs into like an actual legit player and loses.
Yeah. So there you have it. I mean, those are our matchups. This is going to be most of these. That one I'm probably least excited for out of the matchups going into the Final Four, but these are really good matchups, and we'll recap it right here. So we're going to see Christmas Vacation. Is that the top? Yeah. Christmas Vacation's going up against what, though?
Die Hard.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
no, I take that back.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Home Alone going up against Christmas Vacation. That's probably the marquee matchup if I had to guess. And then you have Die Hard going up against Scrooged, which I think is going to be probably the biggest blowout. And then you have Elf going up against Santa Claus, which is also a really intriguing matchup. And then you've got the Grinch going up against Charlie Brown, which I think is the least exciting matchup. So I mean, that's going to be good. Some programming notes before we sign off here. We will be on it's sounding like 2 weeks from today, which means there's 4 matchups to go from the Elite Eight to the Final Four. So Austin, we're looking at 2 matchups a week.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
Can we do something irregular and just post one of these matchups like now? Like I am like so excited about these matchups. Or should
well,
we
we
wait?
can do them for longer now because we
Yeah.
only have 4 left. So I would say, Austin, if you do post one tonight, I would post it until Wednesday and
Okay.
then post the second one Thursday through Sunday. Does that make sense?
Let's start out with the banger, dude. Let's just go Home Alone Christmas Vacation. See
So
what
Home Alone
people.
Christmas Vacation will come on tonight. That'll be on for 3 days. And then once that poll closes, so that'll be what, Thursday?
Yeah.
Thursday will be Die Hard versus Scrooge.
Yeah. You're
Then
West Coast, so we've got an
Friday-
advantage here. I'd say midnight Wednesday going into Thursday, close that vote.
Yeah.
And then we'll launch Thursday, and midnight Sunday going into Monday,
Yep.
we'll close that one. Or I'm sorry,
And-
Saturday going into Sunday, and then post.
And then it'll be Elf
Yeah.
versus Santa Claus.
Yep.
And then so 3 days on that. And then after that closes, we'll go Grinch against Charlie Brown.
Yeah. So we're looking at 72 hours now. You have to vote for each matchup. And then Austin will close them at midnight, launch the next one. Yeah. And I mean, Austin just keep on top of it. So they're all done by Saturday into Sunday at the latest 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So there you have it. So I mean, we're gonna go from 8 to 4 here. Jake and I and Austin will be back on 2 weeks from today, and we'll be back 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we will break down your Final Four for you, and then this will all wrap up the following Sunday, December 19th, the Sunday before Christmas, and we will be able to announce the champion of the best holiday movie bracket in pop culture life. So thank you to everyone for joining us tonight. Jake, do you have any last words before we sign off here?
To all you Christmas Story fans, suck it.
Perfect. There you go. So this has been a coverage of Pop Culture Life's best holiday Christmas movie. We'll be back 2 weeks from today, 8 p.m. Eastern time, to break down your Final Four. Everyone, have a good night.
See ya.